She was humiliated right at her husband's workplace for carrying a homemade lunchbox, for wearing faded canvas shoes, for not matching the crystal interiors and luxury perfumes gleaming across the 42nd floor lobby of Western Technologies. Delivery should use the back door, someone muttered as they walked past. Thought she was a lost janitor, another voice snickered. She stood there, small, calm, amid daggered stares, just to bring him the chicken stew he loved most. Just as she was about to be thrown out, her billionaire CEO husband walked in. The 42nd floor lobby of Western Technologies was a fortress of power, its crystal walls refracting sunlight across polished obsidian floors, where Italian suits and platinum employee badges ruled supreme. Rolexes ticked on wrists, Emelon pens gleamed in breast pockets, and the air hummed with Creed cologne and ambition. This was the senior executive board's domain, a place where deals reshaping global markets were sealed with a handshake. The reception desk, a slab of frosted glass, was manned by staff in tailored blazers, their eyes scanning sapphire key cards. Beyond the desk, a private elevator hummed, its gold-plated doors reserved for the elite. Emily Harper stepped off the service lift, her beige turtleneck sweater soft against her skin, her chestnut hair neatly tied with a cotton scrunchie, her faded canvas shoes whispering on the floor. At 30, raised in a modest Oregon town, she'd taught herself coding while working as a barista, her life simple until she met Lucas Weston, the man who'd built Weston Technologies from a garage startup. In her hands, a stainless steel lunchbox carried the scent of chicken stew, a recipe she'd perfected over 7 years of marriage. The lobby's stairs sliced through her, their whispers a gathering storm. Emily's presence was a crack in the lobby's polished facade, her lunchbox and a front to the elite's curated world. A junior executive in a $3,000 Armani suit paused mid-stride, his platinum badge glinting. "Sorry, this is the executive floor. Delivery staff should use the back entrance," he said, his voice loud enough to turn heads. A senior manager in a $5,000 jacket chuckled, leaning toward his colleague. "Oh no, she's not a delivery girl, just someone's wife trying to cling to the office." The reception desk erupted in laughter, their manicured hands covering smirks. Emily stood still, her hazel eyes steady, the lunchbox warm in her grip. Lucas's favorite meal, cooked with love, was her reason for being here. The audience's anger stirred, their hearts tensing at the casual cruelty of these corporate gatekeepers, their disdain ablaze against Emily's quiet grace. The mockery escalated, a venomous chorus orchestrated by the lobby's elite. Vanessa Cleany, the CEO's secretary, strutted forward, her platinum blonde hair cascading over a body-hugging Versace dress, her blood-red lipstick a stark contrast to her icy smile. At 28, raised in Manhattan's elite circles, she'd clawed her way to Lucas's side, her open crush on him, an office rumor she never denied. She looked Emily over, her eyes raking from the turtleneck to the canvas shoes. "You're in the wrong place," she said, her voice a sharpened blade. "There's no husband here desperate enough to marry someone like you." The reception staff roared, their laughter echoing off the crystal walls. Vanessa tossed her hair, her jasmine perfume wafting, a scent she wore despite knowing Lucas's allergy. Emily's fingers tightened on the lunchbox, her face calm, but the audience's fury surged, their hearts pounding at this personal attack. Vanessa's arrogance a spark in the frost. The lobby's scorn grew vicious, a coordinated assault on Emily's presence. A security guard, Harold Vance, approached, his gray uniform crisp, his face etched with decades of enforcing corporate rules. At 55, raised in Brooklyn, he prided himself on maintaining order. He grabbed Emily's arm, his grip firm but not cruel, and muttered, "Let's go, ma'am. You're causing a scene." The crowd cheered, their Rolexes glinting as they waved her toward the service exit. A board member in a $6,000 Bryan suit shouted, "Do you even know where the VIP elevator is?" "Oh, wait. Of course you don't." Laughter roared, executives nudging each other. A receptionist hissed, "She doesn't even look like cleaning staff." Another added, "That rice smell is so strong and she dares walk in here." The insults were a guillotine, each word a lash against Emily's silence. The audience's rage boiled, their hearts breaking for Emily, furious at this mob's relentless cruelty. The executive's scorn turned vicious as Emily stood in the lobby, their mockery a choreographed assault meant to crush her spirit. A group of board members in $8,000 Savro suits gathered near the frosted glass desk, their voices a venomous chorus. "She's a blemish on Weston's brand," one sneered, flicking a gold fountain pen toward Emily's canvas shoes. "Back to the suburbs, sweetheart." Another waved a platinum credit card, shouting, "Her lunchbox looks like it's from a thrift store." The crowd's laughter roared, staff nudging each other, their Rolexes glinting. A telecom tycoon bellowed, "She's an insult to every deal signed here." The taunts were a guillotine, each word a blade against Emily's poised silence. Lucas's office loomed beyond the elevator, but the lobby's disdain was a crushing weight. The audience's rage surged, their hearts pounding, furious at this orchestrated cruelty, their anger of fire, ready to consume the elite's arrogance. The elite's disdain turned personal, their voices a venomous symphony. A finance director in a $4,000 Tom Ford suit leaned against the reception desk, his voice loud and cutting. "She's a nobody, probably snuck in to beg for a job." He sneered, gesturing at Emily's lunchbox. "Look at that sweater. Did she knit it herself?" His colleagues laughed, their platinum badges flashing. A marketing VP in a $7,000 Keaton blazer shouted, "She's an embarrassment to whoever let her in." The crowd's laughter was a suffocating tide, their arrogance a public execution. Emily adjusted her scrunchie, her hazel eyes unwavering, but the lobby's scorn was a crushing weight. The audience's anger flared, their hearts pounding at this institutional betrayal, their fury a fire ready to consume the lobby's sanctity. Vanessa Klein's disdain sharpened, her words a calculated strike to wound Emily before the lobby's elite. "She's not just out of place. Weston's been duped." The laughter roared, each rumor a dagger aimed at Emily's heart. Guests whispered lies. "Is their accusations spreading like wildfire? She's after a payout." Emily's fingers brushed her scrunchie, her gaze steady. But the crowd's slander was a crushing weight. The audience's anger erupted, their hearts with Emily, their fury a tidal wave against this malicious slander, desperate for the truth to shatter the elite's lies. The executives' cruelty peaked as they spun vicious rumors, their voices a venomous storm echoing through the lobby. A corporate strategist in a $9,000 Loro Piana suit leaned forward, his voice loud and cutting. "She's a fraud. Probably bribed her way onto this floor." He hissed, his companions nodding, their cufflinks flashing. "Her marriage is a sham, just a story to scam Weston." Another added, shouting, "She's a con artist." Lucas has been duped. The laughter roared, each rumor a dagger aimed at Emily's heart. Staff whispered lies, their accusations spreading like wildfire. "She's after his fortune." Emily's fingers brushed her scrunchie, her gaze steady. But the crowd's slander was a crushing weight. The audience's anger erupted, their hearts with Emily, their fury a tidal wave against this malicious slander, desperate for the truth to shatter the elite's lies. Emily stood silent, not a tear in her eyes, her arms cradling the lunchbox, Lucas's favorite meal, a symbol of their quiet nights in their Oregon home. Then she looked up directly into Vanessa's eyes and smiled gently. "You should switch your perfume," she said, her voice soft but clear. "My husband's allergic to jasmine." She paused, her hazel eyes unyielding. "But I guess you didn't know that, because despite what you imagine, you've never made it past his bedroom door." The lobby froze, gasps rippling through the perfumed air. Vanessa's face flushed crimson, her blood-red lipstick stark against her paling skin. She screamed, "Who do you think you are to talk like that? You're just a poor housewife stuck in the kitchen while I work beside him every day." The audience's heart stirred, their anger shifting to anticipation. Emily's quiet strength, a spark in the frost. Emily's reply was calm, like reading a prescription. "Exactly. You work beside him every day, and I sleep beside him every night." The lobby fell silent, the reception staff's laughter choking in their throats. Harold Vance, the guard, awkwardly released Emily's arm, his face flushed with shame. Some executives tried to suppress their chuckles. Others turned away, their cufflinks glinting with regret. Vanessa's eyes widened. Her Versace dress, no shield against the truth. The audience's pride swelled, their hearts thundering as Emily's words reshaped the lobby's power dynamic, her composure a quiet blaze that burned through their lies. The elevator doors parted with a ding, and shiny black shoes stepped onto the obsidian floor. Lucas Weston emerged, his charcoal gray bespoke suit tailored to perfection, his gray eyes colder than stone. At 35, raised in Silicon Valley, he'd built Weston Technologies into a global titan, crushing 3 international mergers with a single line. "I disagree." The most powerful CEO in the building, his presence was a thunderclap. He stepped forward, his gaze locking on Emily, and took the lunchbox from her hands with both of his, as if receiving a sacred relic. "Who stopped my wife?" His voice wasn't loud, but it landed like a hammer. No one dared answer. The audience's hearts soared. Their anger transformed into awe as Lucas's truth began to unravel the lies that had bound Emily. Lucas turned to Vanessa, his eyes a storm of controlled fury. "I made it clear. My wife goes straight to my office. No check-in, no guest pass." His voice sharpened, each word a blade. "Not only did you disobey that, you insulted her." Vanessa opened her mouth, but Lucas raised his hand, a gesture that silenced even the executive board in meetings. "I want you to pack up your things immediately," he said. "From now on, you're blacklisted across the entire Western Group ecosystem. Any company I invest in that hires you loses my funding." Vanessa stumbled back, her Versace dress wilting, her jasmine perfume a bitter irony. The audience roared, their hearts pounding as Lucas's retribution crushed her arrogance. Lucas's gaze shifted to Harold Vance, the guard, his voice steady but lethal. "You stopped the only person I eat dinner with every night," he said. "I don't want to see you in any Weston property 5 minutes from now." Harold's face palled, his uniform no shield, his career dust. Lucas turned to the reception staff, his eyes sweeping the desk. "Anyone who laughed, mocked, or stood by, your key cards are deactivated. Clear your desks." The staff froze, their platinum badges useless, their murmurs as silenced. Lucas's authority was a guillotine, each word a lash against their complicity. The audience's pride swelled, their fury transformed into triumph. Emily's victory sealed by her husband's unrelenting power. Lucas Weston's presence commanded the lobby, his voice a gavel strike that silenced the crystal air. "You dared to mock Emily Weston, the only soul worthy of this empire," he said, his gray eyes a storm of controlled fury. "Your titles, your badges mean nothing against her truth." He raised a sleek tablet, revealing a cascade of severed ties. Vanessa Klein's client contracts, Clara Holt's corporate endorsements, the executives board nominations, all terminated by Weston Group's influence. "Your names are erased from global markets," he declared, his gaze locking on Vanessa. "You've lost more than jobs. You've lost your futures." The crowd's gasps were a symphony of shock, their empires crumbling under his command. Emily stood beside him, her beige turtleneck glowing, her triumph sealed by Lucas's unrelenting power. The audience roared, their hearts soaring as his global retribution crushed the elite's arrogance. The fallout was immediate, a reckoning delivered in silence. Vanessa Clean was escorted out, her Versace dress a mockery, her reputation a cautionary tale among the staff. Harold Vance was led away, his security badge confiscated, his decades of service null. Clara Hole, the receptionist, scrambled to gather her belongings, her gatekeeping role, a public wound. The executives who'd mocked Emily, the finance director, the marketing VP, the strategy consultant, were summoned to HR, their board seats revoked, their deals cannelled. The lobby's crystal walls seemed to dim, the elite's Rolexes no longer ticking with power. Emily stood beside Lucas, her canvas shoes steady, her beige turtleneck a quiet crown. The audience's hearts thundered, their anger transformed into triumph. Emily's triumph a testament to her grace. The elite's downfall was a spectacle, their arrogance shattered under Lucas's command. Vanessa Clean stumbled back, her Versace dress a mockery, her reputation a cautionary tale among the staff. Clara Holt's gatekeeping empire plummeted, her scorn a public wound, her escorts pushing her toward the service exit. The corporate strategist's deals collapsed, his slander exposed as lies. The board members who'd flicked pens hid their cufflinks, their nominations null. The staff who'd sneered were dismissed, their careers ended. The executives who'd spread rumors were shunned, their influence dust. Emily stood tall, her canvas shoes a quiet crown, her hazel eyes unyielding. The audience's hearts thundered, their anger transformed into pride. Emily's victory and Lucas's wrath a blaze that humbled the world's richest in the lobby's hallowed halls. Lucas bent down, buttoned Emily's coat, and whispered, "I saw everything. You don't have to say a word." His gray eyes never left hers, his hands steady as he led her to the private elevator. The reception staff, managers, and executives bowed their heads, their earlier scorn of fading echo. The lobby fell into ice, the air heavy with the choking realization that love couldn't be measured in brands. The elevator doors closed, the gold-plated panels reflecting a man in a luxury suit and the humble woman he chose to walk beside for life. The audience's hearts soared, their pride ablaze that humbled the lobby's elite in Weston's hallowed halls. No one knew Emily's past. Not the staff, not Vanessa, not the executives. At 20, she'd coded her first app while pouring coffee, her tips funding night classes. At 23, she met Lucas at a tech conference, her quiet strength drawing him in a room of flash. Their marriage, a private vow in a Portland meadow, was built on love, not wealth. Vanessa's jasmine, the staff's badges, the executive's suits, none matched the warmth of the lunchbox Emily carried. Now she stood in Weston's lobby, her scrunchie a testament to her truth, her silence a furnace that burned through their lies. The lobby resumed its hum, but the staff's eyes remained on the elevator. A board member approached Lucas's deputy, his voice low with respect. "Mrs. Weston, she's extraordinary," he said, his earlier scorn a regret. The executives retreated, their influence null, their aides scrambling to salvage ties with Weston. The managers hovered, their empires trembling in Emily's shadow. She stepped into the elevator, her hazel eyes tracing Lucas's proud smile. The doors closed, the autumn light fading, leaving a trail of the world's richest pleading for her favor. Their bows a silent surrender to the woman they'd mocked. She was humiliated right at her husband's workplace, for carrying a homemade lunchbox, for wearing faded canvas shoes, for not matching the crystal interiors and luxury perfumes gleaming across the 42nd floor lobby of Western Technologies. But when the truth rose, like a tide, they couldn't stop. They all learned one thing. The real queen doesn't need to shine. She just needs to walk in, and the room will kneel. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this.